Have you ever wondered what true faith looks like? Not just believing in something, but living it, breathing it, trusting in it so completely that it shapes your entire life. Today, we're journeying back in time to explore one of the most foundational stories of faith ever told, the promise made to Abraham. This isn't just a tale from an ancient book. It's a profound lesson on the nature of faith, hope, and the incredible relationship between humanity and the divine. Our story begins in the ancient city of Ur, a bustling metropolis in Mesopotamia. Here lived a man named Abram, who we come to know as Abraham. He and his wife Sarai, later known as Sarah, were comfortable. They had a home, a community, everything they knew. But they were getting older, and one deep sadness lingered in their hearts. They had no children. In their culture, this was more than just a personal sorrow. It was seen as a sign of being without a future, without a legacy. Imagine being in their shoes, carrying this quiet weight every single day. Then, one day, something extraordinary happens. God speaks to Abram, and it's not a small request. God says, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you." Think about that for a moment. Leave everything. Your home, your family, your safety net, everything familiar, and go where? To a land I will show you. There was no map, no destination address, just a command to trust and to move. And what was the reason for this massive, life-altering request? God makes a promise, a covenant, that is truly staggering. He tells Abram, "I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you I will curse, and all peoples on earth will be blessed through you." This is huge. God is promising this childless man that he will become the father of a great nation. His descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. What would you do? Most of us would probably hesitate. We'd ask for more details, a 5-year plan, some guarantees. But what did Abram do? The scriptures tell us, "So Abram went, as the Lord had told him." Just like that. He packed up his life, gathered his wife Sarai, his nephew Lot, and all their possessions, and set out. He was 75 years old. This wasn't a young man seeking adventure. This was a man in the later years of his life, stepping out in pure, unadulterated faith. This act, this simple obedience, is the first monumental display of Abraham's faith. He trusted God's promise more than he trusted his own comfort and security. Their journey was long and wasn't without its challenges. They faced famine, which forced them to detour into Egypt. They dealt with family conflicts, leading to Abraham and his nephew Lot parting ways. Through all these trials, Abraham's faith was tested and refined. He made mistakes, for sure. He was human. There were moments of fear and doubt, like when he feared for his life in Egypt and passed Sarai off as his sister. But despite his imperfections, he always returned to his core trust in God's promise. Years passed, then more years. Abraham and Sarah were now very, very old, and still no child. Can you imagine the conversations they must have had, the moments of doubt creeping in? It's one thing to believe a promise for a week or a year, but for decades. It's here we see another critical aspect of faith: patience. True faith endures the wait. It holds on to the promise even when reality seems to scream the opposite. One day, under the great oaks of Mamre, 3 mysterious visitors appeared at Abraham's tent. Abraham, showing incredible hospitality, rushed to welcome them, prepare a meal, and serve them. It turns out, one of these visitors was the Lord himself, and he repeated the promise, but this time with a specific timeline. "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son." Sarah, who was listening from the entrance of the tent, overheard this. And what did she do? She laughed. It wasn't a laugh of joy, but of disbelief. She was well past the age of childbearing. From a purely biological, logical standpoint, it was impossible. It was absurd. The Lord then asks Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh? Is anything too hard for the Lord?" This question hangs in the air, and it's a question for all of us. When faced with our own impossibilities, do we believe that anything is too hard for God? And just as promised, a year later, the impossible happened. At the age of 90, Sarah gave birth to a son. They named him Isaac, which means he laughs, a beautiful reminder of both Sarah's initial doubt and the ultimate joy that filled their hearts. The promise was fulfilled. The laughter of disbelief had been transformed into the laughter of pure, unadulterated joy. Abraham, now 100 years old, held his son, the physical proof of God's faithfulness. But the story doesn't end there. God puts Abraham's faith to one final, ultimate test, a test so severe it's almost painful to read about. God calls to him, "Abraham," and he answers, "Here I am." Then comes the command, "Take your son, your only son whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain I will show you." Can you even begin to fathom this? The son he had waited a century for, the child of the promise, the embodiment of all his hopes and God's covenant. And now God was asking him to give him up. This goes beyond any test we could imagine. It seems cruel, contradictory. How could the God of the promise ask for the death of the promise itself? Yet what does Abraham do? The very next morning, he gets up early, saddles his donkey, takes 2 servants and his son Isaac, and sets out for the place God had told him about. There is no record of him arguing, questioning, or delaying. His obedience is immediate and resolute. On the journey, Isaac, with the innocence of a child, asks his father, "The fire and wood are here, but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" And Abraham's response is one of the most profound statements of faith in all of Scripture. He says, "God himself will provide the lamb." In that moment, Abraham demonstrated a faith that transcended his own understanding and even his own love for his son. He believed 2 things simultaneously: that he must obey God's command, and that God would still fulfill his promise of making him a great nation through Isaac. How? He didn't know. Perhaps he believed God would raise Isaac from the dead. The writer of Hebrews in the New Testament suggests exactly that. But whatever his specific thought process, his core belief was unshakable. God is faithful, and God will provide. When they reached the mountain, Abraham built the altar, arranged the wood, bound his son Isaac, and laid him on the altar. He raised the knife. At that very last second, an angel of the Lord called out from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham, do not lay a hand on the boy. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." Abraham looked up, and there in a thicket, he saw a ram caught by its horns. He took the ram and sacrificed it as a burnt offering instead of his son. God had provided the lamb. The test was over. Abraham's faith, a faith that was willing to give up everything, was the very faith that pleases God. So what does this incredible story teach us today? It shows that faith isn't just a feeling, it's an action. It's stepping out when we can't see the path. It's waiting patiently when the promise seems distant. And it's trusting God even when his commands seem incomprehensible. Abraham's story is a mirror for our own lives. We all face our own mountains, our own impossible situations, our own long waits for promises to be fulfilled. The faith of Abraham is the foundation upon which so much of our spiritual heritage is built. It's a faith that pleases God not because it's perfect, but because it's persistent. It's a trust that says, even in the darkest moments, God will provide. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the heart of faith. I hope Abraham's story has inspired you as much as it inspires me. If you found this meaningful, please give this video a like and consider subscribing for more stories that explore the depths of the human and divine experience. We'd love to have you with us. See you next time.